I'm gonna just shift my camera. It's gonna be very annoying, very annoying. But like, ugh, I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, hi, what's up? It's me, Miss Black Introvert. Thanks for clicking on this video. Yada 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 yada. Um, so clearly at work, I'm going to be doing these Sunday lives at work. It's just I'm at work on Sundays, so and I like to just kind of decompress at the end of the week, just kind of get my thoughts out there for myself, and I figured I might as well broadcast it as well. I don't have that much of a hang up or when it comes to like publicizing, or I think that's the word, making my thoughts public. I don't really, it's like I care but I don't care at the same type of anyways. So the topic of the video, I'm going to take this bracelet off because it keeps clacking. It's bothering me. So, um, just to get right into it, I am 28 and I don't have friends. Um, I will say, I just want to give a clear picture of my circumstances in life. I am a child of, um, what did I say it like that? I have 5 other siblings that I'm around. Um, so I'm not alone, and I'm a mother, so I'm never alone. But just because I have a big family and I have kids doesn't mean that I'm getting emotional support from any of these people. Um, and there's a different type of support that comes with friendship that is a bit different than the support you get from your uh, siblings, even if they're close in age to you. And then on top of that, of course, with my kids, I'm not looking to my kids. I'm not looking for my kids to provide any type of emotional support for me. Um, they're not my friends. They're my children, and they're cool. We have fun. But it's definitely, I definitely still have the capacity to feel lonely, um, without, I still have the capacity of feeling lonely despite the amount of people that is around me. Um, so I just wanted to get that out of the way because I feel like there's this misconception that loneliness equates to um, solid solitude. Yes. That loneliness equates to not being around anyone. You're living alone and there's nobody around you. You're not interacting with people, and that leads to loneliness. Um, no. I think loneliness comes into play whenever you feel outside of things. I feel like feeling any feeling like you can't people can't relate to you, that seems like the root of loneliness to me. Um, and as a person who kind of, I love psychology. I am interested in human behavior and human thought processes. I understand that nothing is new under the sun. If I'm feeling a certain type of way, there's probably 6,000 other people that probably feel the same way. But for me, that doesn't translate into a feeling of like, feeling like I'm related to, because I'm not talking to these people. These people aren't around me. I'm not like having thoughtful conversations with these people. So I can intellectually know that I'm feeling something that thousands of other people feel. But if I'm not sitting in front of someone who can relate to how I'm feeling, I still feel like the one in a million person, the person who's just experiencing this thing. I still feel like I'm on an island experiencing this hard feeling and no one else gets it, even though I can intellectually know that, just based off of how humans think and statistics and shit like that, there's somebody out there that feels the same way that I feel. Um, but as someone without friends, I I'm noticing that it's becoming an issue just a little bit. And here's how it's become an issue. So, just starting with the issue. The issue is when, because I don't have any friends, I tend to stick around in situationships. So I'm someone who, it's easier for me to have relationships based on, I'm going to use a more censored term, on more bodily things. It's easier for me to have a relationship with somebody based around the act relation of relations. So the people that I have any type of connections with, it's surrounded, it's within those terms that at the end, whatever, at the end of any interaction we're having, it's leading to relations. And those type of relationships are very easy to make and to have. I'm somebody who is I'm bisexual, but I tend to date men. I feel like if I'm on a spectrum of things, I personally like men. Well, I don't know. I've never dated a woman, so I can't say that I'm someone who likes men more than women. I don't know. I just tend to date more men, and it's probably because it's just something I became used to, and dating women would be very different. So I just don't. But it's just a lack of trying to put my, I'm scared to put myself out there. It's probably that. But nonetheless, I tend to date men. So it's easy to get into a relationship with a man for me. And the relationships usually are just situationships. And those situationships have been my placeholder for friendships. But as you all know, if you've ever been in a situationship, it's a far cry from a friendship. It's transactional to say the least. You get to know a person just enough to want to have relations with them, but the more of their flaws and their like nuances you learn, the less you want to continue on with the situationship, because it's like, well, we're not committed, and I didn't sign up for that. I didn't sign up to deal with your the things that come with you being an emotional non emotional feeling person, and I don't want to deal with that. And that's fair, because the what was the grounds of the relationship are superficial, so that makes sense. But for me, I've realized that I've used situationships to fill my loneliness hole. That sounds oddly, if you, I'm not going to go there, but it's, yes, I've used situationships to feel like I have friends, and they're not my friends. They're just a guy that keeps me around and that I keep around to feel less lonely. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know why they keep me around, but I know why I keep them around. And it's because I don't have any friends, and I'm not willing to let go of people that kind of feel that role, but not really. I'm realizing that these situationships are not enough, though. And I really do want friends. I don't want a person around me who pretends to be my friend so that they can get the benefits at the end of the interaction, or even a friendship that has that tied to it. Because, yeah, maybe friends with benefits is a thing that exists, but for me, it is hardly a friendship. But I'm going, I'm going to backtrack and kind of explain how I got to a point where I'm 28 with no friends. I was watching this video by this, I think her name is Anne. She's a psychologist. I don't remember the channel name, but they're a psychologist, and they were talking about having no friends, like at an older age, and how it can be a red flag for some people. And it was really disheartening to hear that people can look at someone and go, something must be wrong with you because you don't have any friends at this age. You should have friends at this age. One, it assumes that everybody is working on the same timeline, when that's not the case. There are people that are emotionally in tuned with their feelings, can identify their feelings at 25, and then there's people that are 40 that can't, that still don't understand how to regulate emotions. Who am I to judge? I don't know what life experiences have led you to that. So to even assume that if a person has no friends at say 30, it's because they are somebody that's hard to be around, or they're, whatever story you come up with in your mind, is absolutely unfair and borderline ridiculous in my opinion, because you're just making up stuff. I have a really I get really irritated at assumptions based on trivial things, such as a person with no friends. Now I'm making up a story about how they're misanthropic. They must hate people. They must, I don't know, scare people away. Like, where am I coming up with these stories? How am I coming to this conclusion? Where where did I get this? It's like you're pulling stuff from your ass, for a lack of better words. Um, but it kind of made me upset to hear. I don't like people judging me off of labels, or just off of. I want to be judged based on my behavior, based on my um, how I treat you. Like, you should, and others, you should base your judgment on me, of me. Your judgment of me should be based off of the behavior I have laid out, I have consistently shown. So you never can look at a person in one situation, in one context, and come up with a story of who they are based off of one situation. That doesn't make any sense to me, but we kind of all tend to do it. Um, God, there's a bias that contributes to this. I don't know the name of it right now, and it's going to bother me, but it's basically the act of, you see somebody in a specific context behaving in a specific way, and you don't attribute their behavior to the context. You attribute it to who they are as a person. You don't look at a person mad at the self checkout line as maybe they are having a bad day because something happened before they got to this checkout line. No, you go, they must be a very angry person. This person, they're insane. Or like, look how they're acting. And to be fair, we all do it. Is it? But it's not a fair thing to do, because we're people that experience shit throughout the day that affects us. I don't know. It's like, let's. Sometimes it's good to contextualize, but other times it can lead to unfair perceptions of other people. Anyways, the idea that a person without friends is anything, any blanketed thing, is just, in my opinion, not fair. So, but back to how I became a person at 28 with no friends. So, all my life, not all my life, but most of my life, I've had social anxiety. I think my oldest memory of my anxiety affecting me would be when I was in, I believe I was like in sixth grade, and we were told to stand up and introduce ourselves to the class, and I was so nervous about it. In my school, we had these desks that had baskets under them, and I was pressing on the basket with my foot so hard while I was up there introducing myself that I broke it. I was so, I was just so nervous. Like, it was the most petrified. Like, I was petrified, terrified. And even as an adult, I get kind of upset with having to do any type of icebreakers. I'm currently in school as an adult, and I don't really like when I'm forced to interact with people in a it's not, it's probably why I'm kind of like somebody without any friends, but I don't like to have forced interactions. And my English teacher, bless her heart, she wanted us to do a free write. I'm all over the place, but there's a thread. There's a thread there. My English teacher wanted us to have to do a free write about our culture and our identity, and kind of describe our culture and identity. And I did it, not thinking that we were going to have to read it to anyone else. So it's a very vulnerable piece of writing that I made. Especially as a Black person, our culture and identity is so it's a lot of moving parts, and it's not exactly the most. I don't know. It's just I felt I wrote I wrote it without thinking I was going to have to present it. So when she was like, "Okay, now get into groups and talk about what you wrote, kind of read what you've written, and just talk about it," and I was like, "Hell no! I'm not going to sit here and talk to a bunch of strangers about something that's super vulnerable to me. I'm leaving." So I just got up and I was like, I went to the bathroom, and I stayed in the bathroom for as long as how long it would be for them to do the things they wanted to do with the presentation. I just stayed in the bathroom until that was over. And then I came back because I just didn't want to do it. But thinking back on it, if I did kind of put myself out there and talk about my identity, maybe it would have led to some type of connection with somebody else. I kind of walled myself off versus confronting an uncomfortable feeling. But even as I talk about it, a part of me is still like, no, they wouldn't have understood. What could these, to put it in context also, everybody in my class, no one in my class is Black. So I didn't think any of these people would kind of understand my culture and identity. And I just was guarded against. I kind of felt guarded. I didn't feel like it was something that I should share to these people that couldn't possibly understand. I mean, honestly, how could you understand if you're not Black? If you're not a Black American, how could you understand what I've experienced? I don't know. I felt uncomfortable, so I decided not to deal with it. But I don't like forced interactions, but sometimes they're needed in order to kind of put yourself out there and make friends. So I say all that to say, I'm someone who I don't know when it's the appropriate time to speak to people. That kind of plays into my social anxiety, which I'm not saying my social anxiety is more valid because I've been diagnosed with it. But just to put it in context, I have been diagnosed with social anxiety. I have a suspicion that I might be on the spectrum, but I feel like at 28, it doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't even matter. If I am, I am. If I'm not, I'm not. I don't. I just know what I have to work on. So, school and me, we didn't get along. Didn't know how to interact with groups of people. Don't know when it's my turn to talk. Don't know when I should talk to people. Don't know when people want to talk to me or if they don't want to talk to me. So throughout my life, I've never really made any close friends in grade school. I had a couple of friends, probably like two. And the older you get, the more those type of grade school friendships, they don't last usually. One of the two friends I still kind of talk to, but because I moved away from that town and I'm now states away, and just our life experiences have been different, we don't really have that much in common. So I mean, I could see myself being friends with them in a meaningful way if if I but I feel like it would kind of be a little bit forced because we don't really have any common interest as far as I know at the moment. And I don't want to just have somebody as my friend because they're the only person that wants to be my friend. I want to be friends with somebody because we have similar interests, because we have similar moral compasses, what we what our standards kind of aligned on how we treat people. I don't want to be friends with someone because they want to be friends with me. That just doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it's fair to the other person. Like, damn, they're just friends with me because I'm the only person that wanted to be friends with them. That just seems like shallow. Um, but anyways, once I left school, I didn't leave with any friends, and then I got pregnant at a young age. And I don't know if anybody's like a single parent watching or that will watch, but when you're a single parent, it doesn't, it kind of isolates you just a bit. You don't really have anyone to talk to. You're kind of focused on being a parent as well. So it's a matter of you kind of isolating yourself, and then other people kind of like putting you in a box, and like, well, people without kids don't really typically, I don't know what other people want. I would just say that it was an isolating experience for me being a single parent. It's kind of still is. The way that people interact, I feel like they require a consistency that I don't particularly have as someone with mental health issues, as someone who's a single parent, as someone who works full time, as someone who goes to, well, I don't work full, yeah, no, I do work full time. I work like 30 hours. As a person who works full time, as a person who's a student full time, I don't have the consistency that a lot of people want in friendships. I'm noticing that's probably a factor in why I don't have friends. And even in these situationships that I try to masquerade as friendships, I wasn't as consistent as I could be, and I didn't feel like I had to be because it's a situationship. But I'm realizing it's translating into me trying to make friends. So I'm going to give you a story of my failed attempt at making friends. I downloaded BFF a few months ago, Bumble BFF. If you don't know what that is, that's just an app where it's kind of like a dating app, but it's for friends. And I was talking to one person, and she was really cool, very cool. We had similar interests. I felt like we both like to read. We both like to we both were single parents. We both, shit, did we have a lot in common? Both like to read. She seemed like somebody that's compassionate and kind of prioritize being that way. Thoughtful. She seemed thoughtful, and I feel like that's probably the biggest thing I want in a friend is somebody that's thoughtful. Um, and I don't think that she's not thoughtful anymore just because of the conclusion of the brief interaction. But so I was talking to her and stuff. We were texting and things, but as I'm not a person that texts in a way that is consistent. You will text me. I will text you for about 15 minutes, and then 3 days later I will text you again. I'm someone where I don't keep up with texting, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like there's a pressure that comes with texting. And if I feel like my day is overwhelming, which typically I feel a little bit overwhelmed, I'm not going to text you. I'm not, because it takes me effort to text. For other people, it might feel effortless, but for me, it's effort. And especially in the beginning of a relationship, the amount of effort it takes to text somebody when I'm getting to know them is just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I don't expect anybody to understand that who doesn't deal with that. So normally, or as somebody would, if somebody goes 3 days without texting you, you tend to think this person doesn't care. Or if they go a week without texting you, this person doesn't really care about building this friendship. So, it was a very stressful week for me. I was planning a birthday party for my son and stressing about money and things like that. So I didn't really have the capacity to text anyone. So I didn't text her for about a week. Then I texted her and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was, you know, things were happening. I didn't really go into it. But I basically was like, sorry it took me so long, but never heard from her again. And fine. Then it happened again. I was texting this person and they seemed cool. They still seem cool. Nothing bad about them. But, I even tried to be proactive. I was like, I'm somebody who I can go some time without texting. I'm not the best texter. I'm more of an in-person person where it's like, I'll text you here and there, but I'd rather kind of hang out with you as I'm doing the things that I do. Like, I like to go on walks every morning. Would love to have a friend to walk with. Um, I sometimes go to a writing group. Would love to go with somebody that also likes to write and I'm friends with. That would be kind of cool for us to connect in that way. I want friends to do things with. I don't really want friends to sit and text all day. Like, we could, oh, look at this meme. But as I'm talking it out, how can you make a friend if y'all not communicating? And usually people communicate through text. And people don't have time. People's schedules don't align usually. My schedule kind of, I have my mornings available, but a lot of people, they don't have their mornings available. So they might not have time to come and walk with me in the morning because their schedule doesn't align with that. So there's a lot of factors that would have to meet and be, what's the word, compatible. So, but yeah, I would say like, I'm not somebody who can't text at all, but I do need some understanding in the way I text. So I told this person, look, I'm the best texter in the standards of what makes somebody a good texter. I take time in between texting people sometimes. Like I could be texting you for a couple of days and then fall off and come back. So I told her that, and she kind of was like, "Well, what's a while? What's a while?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't respond to her in a week." And again, it was because of a specific situation. It seems like I have excuses, but really, I was sick with COVID. And I told them that when I came back after like a week and some change. I was like, it's gonna sound crazy, but I definitely had COVID. I didn't even, I had pictures of the test, but I was like, I think it's a little bit too much sending pictures. And if a person doesn't believe what I'm saying, maybe we shouldn't be friends. Because if you just think that I'm lying, what can I do? Like, if you think somebody's a liar, there's no coming back from that. So if I told you I had COVID and that's what took me a while to text you back, after you asked me how long it takes you to text back, fine, that's fine. Feel that way, but I need somebody a little bit more understanding to be my friend, anyways. But they didn't text me back, so I'm going to assume that they just didn't believe that I was sick with COVID, or they just didn't care. They're like, well, you're sick in bed, so that probably gives you time to text. But the person I am, texting when building a relationship with somebody feels like effort. It is effort. Feels like that. I'm only but my experiences. It feels like effort. It is effort for me to text people in the beginning of a friendship because I feel like I'm being observed, I'm being judged, which you are. You are being judged in the beginning of a relationship. People are looking at how you behave and they're coming to conclusions, which you should. You're supposed to take people's behaviors and kind of gauge what type of person they are based on them. But there's a lot of my behaviors that are typically attributed to, not a lot, I wouldn't say a lot, but being consistent is an important thing for a lot of people. And the only way I'm going to be able to be friends with somebody is if they understand why I'm inconsistent and don't take it personally. And that's hard to find. It's hard to find somebody willing to sit through you being inconsistent while you're trying to build a friendship with them. And I meet I'm not somebody who expects people to treat me in a way I wouldn't want to be treated. Like if somebody is texting me and they go without texting me for a minute and then they text me again, my first thought isn't to say this person doesn't care about me. I feel like probably more so, and if it was a like a if it wasn't a consistent inconsistency. If you are somebody who texts me every day and you whatever, or I don't know, I hear from you at least at once every 2 weeks, and then or a couple times in a week, maybe it's not every day, maybe it's whatever, and then you just suddenly stop texting me, it's going to make me a little alarmed. But if your inconsistency is consistent, girl, I don't care. I don't care if you hop back and be like, "Hey, how are you?" It's fine with me. Um, but that's not fine with everyone, and I have to just find people who are probably a little neurodivergent, just a little bit, not just a little bit, who are neurodivergent and understand what I'm going through. Understand that I easily get overwhelmed. Understand that I have a lot of stuff going on in my life that leads to that overwhelm, or that feeling of being overwhelmed. And maybe I just need to tweak my schedule, kind of tweak the amount of stressors I have, because maybe I have too many. But I'm trying to think like what I mean. My kids are always going to be there. I'm always going to be a parent. That's like a healthy stressor. And then I've got to work, so not going to eliminate that just to make friends. I'm in school, not going to eliminate that just to make friends. And when I'm in school, I'm in school. I'm not like, I take it very seriously. I'm studying, I'm doing my work. I'm focused on getting at least the A or B. Like, I have a I'm working on my perfectionism. Maybe it's that. Maybe that's the stressor that I have to eliminate, perfectionism. Because when you have a mindset of perfectionism, everything is overwhelming because you're trying to be the best at everything. And usually it leads to you being mediocre because it's like, damn, you start to give up when you see yourself not being perfect. And as everyone knows, perfection isn't possible. So maybe it's that I gotta lay down the stress of trying to be perfect or the best at something, or like great at something. I always want to be great at what I do. I just never want to be mediocre at it. Like even with YouTube, I'm like, I'm definitely not the best at YouTube. But a part of me was like, a part of me has laid down the perfectionism that comes with it. It's like, yeah, probably not going to be the best YouTuber, the greatest YouTuber of all time. Am I going to be on like a million subscribers? Probably won't ever get even 100,000 subscribers. But I like to talk to myself, so why not broadcast it to people who might relate? But maybe I'm approaching friendship. Maybe my mindset around friendship is what needs to be fixed before I can have um, before I can be the person that's able to consistently interact with someone during the beginning stages of friendship, to build that trust and comfortability, where if I do stop texting them because I'm overwhelmed, they don't take it personally. I can't expect somebody I'm trying to build a relationship with to off the bat have trust and comfortability. I am in the minority most likely of just default having trust for someone until they show me something that I should have no I should like, what is it, I should distrust, while other people, they start off with distrust, and the more comfortable, the more you show traits of honesty, I guess, then they become trusting of you. Maybe it's that. I don't know. All I know is there's a mindset I have around interacting with people in the beginning stages of relationships that leads to me feeling stressed and feeling like it's effort, when it probably shouldn't feel like effort. It probably should just, no, I shouldn't say should. It would be more healthy to view the interactions I'm having with somebody that I'm trying to be friends with as just, hey, how are, like, I feel like maybe there is still some people pleasing in me, where it's like kind of performative in a way, where I'm thinking about everything I'm doing, and I don't know, it's not, it doesn't come easy. So I think that I need some more time alone, probably, to just become very comfortable with myself. And that in turn will lead to me feeling comfortable and presenting myself to others to be judged and scrutinized. When you have a strong sense of self, it probably doesn't matter if you have interaction with somebody and they're like, ugh, you're weird. Let me stop talking to you. Just like, okay, I don't think I'm weird, so whatever. I don't know. I feel like I'm always waiting for them to like see something in me that they don't like. So interactions with people just feel strained. Um, I don't know. And I don't do well with rejection. I, I'm getting better at it though. It's like social rejection. It's it's tough, but I've been kind of leaning into it where it's like who really, if you don't like me, you don't like me. You don't even know me. You're just liking me based off of what? You didn't even get to know me, so it's fine. Not to say that if somebody did get to know me that they're going to like me, but it makes it a little easier when somebody didn't get to know you and they go, I don't like this person. Kind of makes it easier to dismiss them. Like, well, whatever, I don't care. But if you get to know someone and then they're like, yeah, I don't like you, and you don't have a good, strong sense of self, then it kind of stings a little bit and you're kind of doing some type of self analyzing, like, oh, what did I do that can make this person feel like I'm not a worthwhile person? But then you have to kind of step back and go, well, it is what it is. At the end of the day got in. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm kind of trying to just make friends in the journey of my life. Just I am realizing that I'm probably somebody who's going to make friends in person. Like, okay, to give you an example, I'm currently going to theater club every Thursdays. Probably will make friends with somebody there because being around somebody every day or every week, that's the consistency that you need in order to build a relationship with somebody. So probably will make friends with somebody in theater club. Although I am 28, returning to school. So as you can probably guess, most of the people I'm around are not my age. And I'm trying to like be fair. Like, okay, if somebody's like 22, doesn't mean it can relate to me. But I don't really think I want to be friends with somebody that's considerably younger than me. Um, I don't think I could shut off my mom brain. Like, where it's like, I'm looking at you as somebody like, not under me, but I don't know. I don't know. I kind of am biased when it comes to people that are younger than me. I don't think that people that are younger than me are necessarily like stupid or anything like that, or like, oh, they wouldn't understand. They're just kids. Because you're 22, you're not a kid. You're an adult. But I feel like it's those years between 22 and 28 matter. And I'm a parent, so I feel like even as a 28-year-old, I'm a little bit more um I take things a little bit more seriously, but also I'm very goofy. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would prefer a friend that's close to my age, but I really don't know any of the people's ages in my theater club. Um, they could be around my age, but they seem to be like younger. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, y'all. But I am going to this writers group, but the writers group is not frequent. It's like every month. Maybe just putting myself out there like, hey, anybody want to trade socials? Just to like shoot ideas back and forth. There's a Discord for it, but I'm not on Discord like that. And also nobody else in the group is on Discord either. So it's like, be talking to myself on there. But maybe just, go into the group and kind of like, hey, I like to, if you're in Albany and I want to hang out or go catch a coffee and kind of do writing together at a cafe or something. I'm going to have to put myself out there. I'm going to. I don't want to, but I'm going to. I'm always waiting for people to come to me, and it's like, how fair is that? How can I ever expect to make friends if I'm always constantly waiting for somebody to come up to me and go, "Hey, girl, I love your shoes," and or whatever. I'm gonna have to be the person sometimes that's like, "Hey, notice that you come here often." I was talking to myself one day and I was like, we need to bring back, you come here often. Notice you come here often. We need to bring back, you come here often, because sometimes the most beautiful friendships can bloom from that one statement. You know, you just gotta put yourself out there. I am in no place to give anybody advice when it comes to making friends. So just know that this live is simply me talking about my experiences, nothing else. But I've talked enough. I've wanted to keep this at like 30 minutes, so I'm going to go. I hope that this like meant something to someone, and you guys have a I was gonna say have a blessed day. Very much an atheist, but hey, have a blessed one. Wait, no.